Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is about installing another Atari emulator, this time for macOS. Just like the last time, it was originally screened on my friend Fabio, aka Kenabit's Twitch channel, so you might see a few references within this video. Ciao! Mi chiamo gwEm, and today we're going to be installing an Atari emulator on your Apple Mac. So let's go. The first thing we need to do is to go on to the internet. There we are. Now the best emulator for Atari on Apple is called Hatari, and the website is hatari.tuxfamily.org. So let's go there. Then we go to the download section. And then we go to the Hatari download area. And here we can go into the latest version. And we download Hatari OS X DMG. And we'll save it on to the desktop. Now, just like with Steam, we'll also need to get the operating system. Now, for Steam on Windows, the operating system file was there and easy to download. But for Hatari, it's not present, so we need to find it. Let's Google for it. Atari TOS versions. There we go. It's almost like I did this earlier. And the best site that I recommend is this one, the TOS Images Collection. And there we've got really a lot of versions of the operating system. But let me cut this down and make it a bit easier for you. So if you're doing retro gaming, you need TOS 1.02. And I recommend that you get the English version. But you could get any of the other versions if you want. If you're doing something else, for example, chiptune, then I suggest you get TOS 2.06. And again, you can get the English version. That's what I'll use. So let's go to the desktop and start to unzip these files. There's the DMG file for the emulator. And there it is. All we need to do is simply drag the Hatari app into the applications folder like that. And now we can run it. There it is. Now it says that it's an unidentified developer, which is normally the case for these open source type of projects. So if you do right click, you can do open. And now you'll get the option to deliberately open it or not. So that's what I'm doing here. And there it's present, and it's complaining that it could not load the operating system. So let's deal with that now. First of all, we will unzip TOS 2.06. The image is here. In Hatari, we can go to the Preferences menu. And under ROM, we can select exactly where our TOS image is. Now we can choose anywhere for this TOS image. At the moment, I've just selected to put it on the desktop, but you could choose another location if you want. There's the image. And it says that a reset is needed after changing these options. But let's consider some of the other configuration for Hatari first. Here under GemDOS drive, it's a good idea to set up a folder which will be your Atari hard disk. So this icon creates a new folder, and we'll call it Atari Demo. And there it is. For the Atari screen, I suggest you select RGB. STE 68000, 8 MHz, no FPU, and 4 MB of RAM are the options you need in the system preferences. And that should be enough. Let's save this configuration. I just call it hatari.config, and I'll save that on the desktop as well. You can choose another location if you want. And we'll run it. It says here that the emulator must be reset for the settings to be applied, so let's do that. And it's loading, which is great. So this is conducting a RAM test, and all Ataris with TOS206 do this. You can skip it though, just by pressing any key. Now let's have a look what's on our hard disk for this Atari. And of course, there's nothing there. So we can try and run some retro games and my tracker and some other stuff. So from this point on, it's a lot like the previous tutorial I did for Steam. But let's go through it because maybe you've not seen that video. So I've opened a folder here where we can copy our downloads. This folder is the Atari demo folder, and it maps into the C drive in your Atari emulator. Let's start by downloading some games. I suggest using the website for the debug crack crew, who I don't know at all. Their website is www.d-bug.me. And we'll go into the patches section of their website. So many games. Let's try Crystal Kingdom Dizzy. Now I'll save this directly in to the hard disk that we created. Now that's a zip file, so we need to unzip it, which Mac does very easily. Then we'll delete the original file, and we'll go back to our emulator. Now if we look in the hard disk, drive C, we'll see that the game is now present there, and we can just run it like this. Brilliant. Now let's load in Maximizer to see what happens with that. So the website for my tracker Maximizer is preromanbritain.com, and you go into the download section and you can choose the latest version. And we'll save that into the Atari hard disk folder as well. Just downloading now. If we double click on it, it will extract that archive and we can delete the zip file. I've reset the Atari because the game was running. And there is Maximizer, the version that we just downloaded. Now, we've configured Hatari to have 4 megabytes, so we can easily run the 2 megabyte version of Maximizer. Let's do that. It's running really well. So the last thing I want to show you is another Atari website. I showed this in the Steam video. Steam is the emulator that I recommended for Windows. It is www.dhs.nu. And this website is called the Dead Hackers Society, and it's the best demo scene website for the Atari ST. If you go into the Files section, you'll find that there are various cool programs that you can try. There's different chiptune trackers for digital tunes like Pro Tracker. There's painting programs, coding tools, and all kinds of other things, and I definitely recommend you check that out. So that was the end of this installation of Hatari, the Atari emulator for macOS. I've been gwEm, and you can check out my YouTube channel or my Twitch channel.